Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining the Shadowfell. We will begin shortly with the Lost City, and we'll begin with a short recap once we begin. Be right back.
Get this show on the road?
Yes, so we resumed in Scrollery. It's a dark room filled with shells and some old bone scroll cases. Had a pile of ashes in the middle. We used Mage Hand to dig into the pile of ashes and found an old sealed bone scroll case glowing magically. Runes written in Old Synodician. They say, "Property of the good mage Martek. Do not open. Most secure." Magnus has a look around the room and determines that the soot and ash emanate from around where the scroll was placed. Scroll case shows signs of aberration evocation magic, suggesting a warding spell. Way and Adriel have a look at some of the paintings in the room to see their paintings of night sky. Adriel finds some spell scrolls in the shelving, Wall of Water, Hideous Laughter, Dawn, and Chaos Bolt. We head back to the spider room and are positively shocked, bunny quotes, to discover that it's full of spiders. Well, full of one large spider. We dispose of it with mostly cantrips, and its larder falls to the ground, including an unfortunate slaver. He has 100 gold pieces and some trifles. The next chamber has some tapestries showing spiders spinning their webs over the kingdoms of man. There's a jackal's head at the center of the steel door. It seems to be cast in the act of attacking, and it's glowing in transmutation magic. It appears the tapestries are much newer than the door itself, and the only real way to get through the door is through the lock. We head back to the tapestry room that we saw before. At the very back, there's a partially preserved tapestry showing the door with a jackal head. It shows a glowing light at the foot of the door. We go back to the door and discover there's a purposeful crack in the floor, and inside there's a key. We mage hand the key into the jackal's mouth and try and turn it, but there's an anti-magic zone stopping the mage hand from operating. Wei manages to get his hand manages to get the door open after turning the key 3 times, causing the jackal to bite down hard on his hand. Inside, there's a shrine with jackal statue and a bowl with a pit glowing with an unearthly red light. There's a lot of magic here. The steam from the pit and the eyes of the jackal creature are showing conjuration magic. The statue's bowl has transmutation and conjuration magic. Magnus walks up to the pit and suddenly a shadow appears behind him, and we're fighting again. Linara vortex warps to get Magnus out of the way of the shadow and then blasts it with Sorcerer's Burst. Wade deletes the shadow, which then turns into a spectre, and then into a scarier shadow, and then into a royal spectre thing. After we kill the final wraith, a floating gem appears above the bowl, sitting in the jackal's hands. We hear a voice say, "At last you've come, set me free so I can fight against Calatharius." It also says, "I'm Eradolf, there we go. I've been bound to this gem until the time Calatharius is released. I will stop him." Stargem looks genuine and has something swirling inside. It appears occupied like the one we have holding Zargon. In the swirling pattern, there appear to be feathers. Eradolf tells us they were called here by Martok, brought to fight Calatharius to stem the tide while Martek trapped the creature. We're part of the extended 1,000-year plan to defeat Calatharius once and for all. We free Eradolf. They're a giant Gynosphinx, absolutely gorgeous, terrifying, and wonderful to behold. Adriel and Magnus set her on the path to dispose of the slavers on her way to fighting Calatharius. We decide to free the slaves, and Lenara has a rummage through the mage's office before we begin. She finds a wand of fear. Magnus convinces the bugbear holding the captives to head upstairs while they, bunny quotes, guard the prisoners. Adriel kills the bugbear and then Magnus frees the prisoners. After a few moments, a flood of people try and make their way down from the camp. Lunara uses Shatter to collapse the ceiling to prevent access. We make our way back up and survey the carnage from a distance. The slavers' camp has been obliterated by our friend, though unfortunately she's not shown any real discrimination between slave and slaver. We spend the rest of the day dispatching the remaining slavers and saving as many slaves as we can. We also find weaponry and supplies, including some wagons, so we can make ourselves a wagon train back to Bralazar. We don't find the remains of the mage, and the drow seem to have taken one look at the results of the carnage before taking their leave. We have a fairly subdued night at the Oasis with the now freed slaves. Lenara tries to raise the spirits of the children, giving them a little show of their adventure so far. Adriel does similar for the adults among the group. Magnus acts as the doctor and gives them a sleep aid. We discuss where the refugees can go now. They might be able to head to the Lost City and find home with the Gorm worshippers, or they could possibly find safety, at least temporarily, with Adriel's tribe. Adriel's approached by a child who tells him they must find the maiden and reunite. The child introduces themselves as Usmagaris and recognizes Adriel as Gorm. They mention that the weapon of Martek may not be the solution at all before leaving to play with the other children. In the morning, we decamp and head back towards Bralazar. The child Usmagaris stays close to Adriel and is introduced to us. She gives us a story of the old days, the fall of Synodicia and the arrival of Zargon. He was the first, but not as powerful as those who followed. He corrupted the followers of the Three into the ways of evil and led the way for Calatharis to take over and cause their fall and the subsequent arrival of Martek and the summoning of the Sphinx. They fought to a deadlock, and Martek used his weapon to lock him away and imprison him, if only temporary, as the walls would fall in 1,000 years. Calatharis would be freed before that 1,000 years was up, as with the Sphinx, who would buy time until Calatharis could be defeated for good. Usmagaris uses scrying to check on Calatharis. She seems gifted, but it's not conclusive that she's actually a deity. She apparently saw the results of collateral damage when Erldolf started fighting with Calatharis, causing the potential extinction of a wandering tribe. We don't know the outcome of the fight. We arrive at Bralazar 7 days later, the scene of a whole set of problems of its own. The city's on lockdown, but we end the session there and level up. Session was called El Spidro Gigante.
Nice. Yeah, lots of exposition last session, huh?
Yeah, a lot happened.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that. And yes, you guys are arriving at Bralazar when we rejoin our characters here.
Yeah.
The first thing that you notice as you approach the city is that things here are a little bit different. The walls and the gates that were previously sort of opened and unguarded now have guards walking along the tops of the walls. The gates are closed and are being people are being sort of searched and questioned before they're permitted into or out of the city. Well, less so out of the city. But yeah, things are very guarded, I guess is the best word. There seems to be a lot of concern about who is coming in and out. You also notice that there is some signs of recent fighting. You can see that there are some of the people that are walking around have injuries. You also see sections of the wall that appear to have been damaged, that have been repaired or are in the process of being repaired. It looks as though something has happened here in the recent history. You guys arrive with your wagon and your boat, and you are questioned by the guards as to who you are, what you're doing, why you're coming in. The fact that we have a citizen of the town in our group actually helps significantly. I forget. Is it you, Lenara? Are you the one who's got?
I think it might be. I've got a home. I've got a home here. So
yeah.
I'm also one, although I don't know if I'm paid up.
Right, you are also one. I believe you were at the start, and we're not at the point where you'd have to pay more. So yes, the two of you are able to sort of help basically get the other two back in. You having homes, you get treated a little bit better. You get, the special treatment. And so you're able to make your way inside the walls. You take a moment to probably drop off your wagon at the caravanners. They have like a storage facility there. And then you've kind of got time to be in the city. It's been a while since you've been back here. It is fairly full. There are a lot of people, and a lot of them look like refugees. There's a lot of people here that are sort of, camping out, maybe don't really have homes to go to. Um, you see a lot more beggars on the streets than you have in the past. And it looks as though people have been coming to Bralazar for aid and assistance after losing their homes and their families and their items, presumably to the great big creature that is wandering around in the desert killing people.
Hmm.
I mean,
Um,
I'm going to propose that our first stop be to my mentors, just to
I
try and
feel like
figure
that's a
out
good idea.
what's going on, unless anybody
Yeah.
has another contact they want to check out.
No, I feel like that's a very good idea. Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess we'll start making our way there. Have we drawn any like unexpected attention returning to the city?
Um, I mean, people are looking at you. You guys are compared to especially a lot of the people right now. You guys are well equipped. You're healthy. Um, you're obviously quite powerful at this point. So people are looking at you, but it's nothing that you would consider to be out of the ordinary.
Mhm.
So you guys are going to speak with Ardeth?
I believe so.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good idea.
Okay. I believe he was somewhere down here, I think, in this one, was it?
I think it was down at 19, maybe.
It was 19. Okay. I do have the map of Brelazar with.
Yeah, you haven't added 18 and 19.
Yeah, I have. Oh, on the.
Well, I'm on
Oh,
the
I
on the
see. On
key.
the. Yes, you're right. So Ardeth is at 17.
Okay, yes, 18.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, you're right. 19 was
yeah,
the racing friend.
Right.
yeah, probably yeah. 18 was my home. 19 was race friend.
18. Nara's house. And 19 was Otel. There you go.
Yeah,
That should have updated now.
yeah.
Okay. So you guys head on over to the Temple of Ilmater, which is here, more central than I
Yep.
thought. And it's quite packed. There are a lot of people here at this time, which, unlike the last time you visited when it was practically empty, now there's a lot of people here. Again, a lot of them seem to be homeless people, beggars, people who are looking for assistance. And the place is kind of buzzing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna beeline try and find Ardath.
Okay.
Sure.
He is he's sort of at the back of the temple, and he looks up and he sees you and says, people don't come to the temple, but in times of need, Ilmater is always there. And he kind of gives you a friendly grave and a smile. And Ilmater is the god of suffering and the oppressed and all that kind of thing. So it kind of makes sense that he's weirdly in his zone right now. Not that he's happy that people are suffering, but he knows how to help, and he's doing what he can. You can see that he's got a lot of things organized to make sure that people have medical supplies and clothes, and he's got like tarps set up so that people have somewhere to shelter themselves from the sun, because obviously that's a big deal in the desert. And he says, you have missed all kinds of things. I hope that your adventures have been as exciting and more fruitful than mine.
They've definitely been exciting, and I just kind of cast an eye around the temple and say, I don't know if they've been more fruitful.
he sort of comes forward to you and he says in a low voice, "Did you get the gems?"
We're still short like 2, right?
Yes, we
Yes.
have 3 now.
So I will just say we've secured 3 of them so far. Still a ways to go.
That's excellent news. I'm really glad to hear it. I have to say I'm quite concerned that you're going to get there, one of them's going to be moved. But if they're still at the locations we believe them to be, that is good. That is good.
Yeah, I mean, it's not been a cakewalk. They've there's a reason that none of them have been moved so far.
Well, I'm sure you are all up to the challenge. But perhaps let's go talk somewhere privately. And he sort of takes you guys into the back area where you had been before, and he sits down. And Magnus, at this time, you sort of realize how tired he looks. He kind of like sits down, and it's like when you stop after a really long day's work, and it's just like all of a sudden you just cannot stand up again for the life of you. Kind of that kind of thing, and you just see like he's got like dark circles under his eyes. He's looking a little bit thinner than last time you saw him. He's just looking a bit rough.
I'm going to make my way to the kettle and put on some tea, and yeah, just kind of make small talk while we get the tea ready. Just like you should really slow it down. Let some of the other priests do more of the heavy lifting. You're no spring cockatrice.
Cockatrice.
Hmm.
He smiles at you and he says, "I will not leave others to do what I'm perfectly capable of doing myself. Stop fussing. Stop fussing." But he
Yeah.
looks kind of
Well,
pleased at your fussing.
if you push yourself too far or too hard, then who will take care of all these other people who need the care?
Oh, I can handle it. You don't need to treat me like an old man. I'm still got a little bit of life left in these old bones. But he has not moved from the chair. And
Right.
he
So let's get an update on what is going on here. What's with all the added security? Is it in regards to the assassination attempt or the kidnapping? Were they successful?
they have not been successful. They almost were. She was taken. But they managed to track them down and get her back. It was your warning that gave us enough notice that we were able to they were able to sort of stop the attempt in the act. But it has made the Sultan very concerned about security. And then recently we were attacked by a tribe of nomads. They brought demons and monsters with them, and they attacked the city. We were barely able to fend them off. But the creature in the desert has been putting together an army, and he has been sending that army against the nomadic tribes and against any of the cities around in the area, any of the encampments people are staying at. Bralazar so far has held. We are by far the largest. But you can see by the refugees, everyone is suffering greatly.
Any word from any of the neighboring cities as to what they are trying to do about the situation? Are we getting any support from elsewhere?
We are getting no support. They can barely support themselves. We're being asked for support. At
What
least
about outside of the desert? Has news reached anywhere else?
I believe missives have been sent, but I that is not my wheelhouse, so to say. That would be up to the sheik to send those kinds of messages, and he is not exactly someone who confides in me.
Well, I mean, the news could have been worse, I suppose.
Hmm.
I think things are going to get worse before they get better, and if you still have 2 star gems to find, there's going to be some more time that we are going to have to wait until the weapon can be found to be used against this creature.
On the subject of the weapon, did we bring the little girl in with us?
You tell me.
I assume so. I doubt we're letting her go too far out of our sight, especially not in Branazar.
I ask Sebastian because he's basically her
I mean,
caretaker at this point.
I would have been with her. I would have stayed with her. Yeah.
So yeah, on the subject of the weapon, there seems to be some theories that perhaps it is not the ultimate solution.
Oh, really?
We seem to have gathered up another god.
I
Getting a
beg your
collection
pardon?
of those.
Another god,
Uh,
you say?
Indeed. Now we've got both Gorm and Usmagarius, and I just kind of gesture to the two of them.
He sort of looks at the little girl and looks kind of back at you and says, "She is a god?"
You know
Technically
what?
got-
I'm just rolling with it. She says she is. She knows a decent amount. They do weirder things.
I
Looks at Gorm. Yep, weird things.
Tell me what is the solution that and he's talking to you at this point, Adriel. What is this new solution then? If it is not to find the star gems, what would be the correct path of action?
I look at Ismagaris and I say, "Would you like to tell him?" Excited.
Oh, we get to watch
Uh,
the GM roleplay with herself.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
The little girl kind of looks at him and sort of says, "I do not know that there's a better way, but the pictures in my mind tell me that maybe the weapon is dangerous too." And she just kind of shrugs and then goes back to like sitting playing on the floor.
How is-
And sorry, go ahead.
How is she playing on the floor? What is she doing?
She's got like a couple of like little like toys that she's pretending are like walking around together.
I join her.
Okay. She hands you one and
Yeah.
you guys go visiting all the different places. It's a little bit of a weird game because while she's a child playing with child's toys, they are all worshiping Usmagaris and looking up at the night sky all the time. So Ardith kind of looks at you, Magnus, and says, "Of course, the weapon's not safe. It's a weapon."
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm less concerned about it being safe and more concerned about it being a stopgap again. We can't be shoving our problems onto another group in 1,000 years.
Agreed. But if it's the only
Oh.
way, then it's the only way.
Is there nothing in the old books?
I've poured through them as much as I can, and we don't have anything like the kind of power. Martek was a very, very powerful wizard, the kind of wizard that's only born once in 1,000 years.
Perhaps, but we have gods. A couple more and I'll have a full hand.
If they can stop him, do they think they could take Cathars on in battle?
Gorm definitely thinks that.
They look over and we're like, pew, 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 like playing with their dolls.
I like to imagine like Quoth is like is in the middle, like hopping around with your stuff.
Yeah,
He's the big monster they're killing.
yeah,
Mm.
we're like
Yeah.
pretending.
Yeah, he is positive he could take Kalakathar. It's been us dragging him away from Kalakatharis this whole time.
I mean, if Calicatharis can be stopped now, then I would encourage you to please go fight him. Oh, please go fight him.
I think we need more information, or perhaps another god or two.
I mean,
I
if we could
have.
get,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say if we could get if we could get Madarawa as well, then we would have the full set.
And
No odd
without-
stories have reached Bralazar about people claiming to be gods lately.
None that I am aware of. You have seen your companions in action. Do you think that they are capable of taking on a creature such as Calictharius?
If it was us versus just him, there's a chance we wouldn't die. But the problem is, I don't think it's going to be us versus him.
Right.
Yeah, he
Well-
seems to be massing an army of followers. We'd need a way of distracting that.
I have done some research into Calictharius. And I can tell you he is something to be concerned of.
Yeah, we've seen him relatively up close. Can confirm.
I mean, you and I saw him pretty damn up close
Exactly.
in the boat. Actually, you had a theory about what he is, didn't you?
Yeah, I think he's a pit fiend. Was it? Where's it gone? Magnus Maneuver.
You're correct, Pit Fiend.
Yes, pit fiend. Yes. I think he's a pit fiend.
Pit Fiend.
Which suggests to me that he's not infallible. He's not a deity. He's wants us to think he is. Wants everyone to think he is. Probably wants to be a deity.
What you say is true. That matches with the research that I have done. I looked more into him and consulted some of the older works, and they talk about Calictharius leaving a fear, instilling fear upon everyone that sees him.
Yeah, he's pretty fucking scary up close. I can confirm.
They also speak of his ability to hurl fire from the skies.
Yep, can confirm. Still have the singed eyebrows to prove it.
In that case, I think that pit fiends are powerful creatures. They are not gods, but they are damn near close.
Yeah, but they're far enough away that they're going to be killable. Like, there will be a way to kill him. And
perhaps if we send all the armies,
it might not be. Sorry, go on.
He's just sort of saying, like, we could send all of the armies against him and throw ourselves. Many would die.
Yeah.
We also just released a Gyno Sphinx or something against them, didn't we?
Yeah, he's being kept busy by a Gyno Sphinx presently. Unfortunately, it is going to result in collateral, like keeping the fuck away from them is recommended. But he is at least being kept busy presently. We made a friend.
His mouth is like just down around his knees at this point. And he says, "You released a Gynosphinx to keep him busy."
Yeah,
That
it was part of Martek's plan. Blame Martek.
It's the only way
he-
for us to get the 3rd star, Jim.
Yeah.
I mean, it's genius in a crazy way.
Yep. I mean, have you heard of Martek? Would you like any other words to describe Martek but genius in a crazy way?
That does tend to suit what I've heard of this wizard.
Yeah.
1,000 years in the past, and still he is manipulating us like puppets.
Yep. He's got this all planned out, which I'm hoping means that part of that plan is we find a way to actually kill Calatharius once and for all. And if not, get powerful enough ourselves that we can at least put up a reasonable speed bump, weaken him enough so someone else can kill him if we fail.
A weapon. If it
Sorry,
is,
you cut out partly.
sorry, he said the weapon, if it is strong enough to weaken Calatharius, perhaps perhaps this Gynosphinx and you and armies could defeat the creature.
Potentially. I mean, if the Gynosphinx is powerful enough to slow him down, then hopefully us plus the weapon plus the Sphinx will be enough.
But your god friends do not wish to get the weapon?
We aren't sure if the weapon is the answer. And I don't know. I kind of feel like we've got to go with the only answer we currently know, and then if something new turns up, then we change the plan as we get there.
It is part of why we came back, though, because I was hoping you would allow Lunara to browse the old literature.
Of
See if
course.
maybe there's something we've missed.
Of course, Lunara, you have free access to all of our libraries and our schools. You're
He
most
literally
welcome.
sees Lunara's eyes light up, even behind the dark smoked glasses that she wears, because fuck the bright sunlight. You literally see her eyes light up through the glasses. She is very
Awesome.
excited by that prospect.
Yeah, there's probably some scrolls in here you wanted to get your hands on for a while, but have never had the you've never had the in to be able to get to see them. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
So we spend a day here? You can peruse the books.
Sure.
We'll try and figure out what's going on in the city, resupply, and then back on the road.
Yeah, I think so. We've got to get where is it? I had a list. Oh, there. The Crypt of Badr al-Mawsak is our next stop, I think, and then the Sky Sea to follow.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to the Sky Sea personally.
It'll be fun.
Can't wait for the Sky Sea.
Where's our boat? Do we still have that flying boat?
We
do,
still
yeah.
have that flying boat. Yeah, you've sort of been dragging it along with the caravan.
Who's
I think we strapped it to the roof of the wagon at one point.
I think when we come back to the town, we probably attach it to the roof to not attract the attention that having a flying boat would attract. Yeah, I don't.
All right. Well, in that case, is there anything that needs to be tackled in town? This is me asking Ardath.
I am concerned that there may be another attempt on the life of the princess.
It's completely possible. I don't know what. I got not Sheik. What is the ruler
Sheik
title here? Sheik. It is okay.
Yeah.
I don't think the Sheik particularly. I mean, he wouldn't recognize me from his cousin. So I don't know why he would talk to any of us.
Yeah, I don't know if we can if we can help in any way on that regard.
I don't know that you can either. But it might be worth looking into. I don't understand why. Why would they go after her?
Hmm. Like
I just
didn't.
assumed it was to sow some sort of, well, not discourse, but like chaos.
Some kind of
Distract.
ransom plot, or like we didn't see any link between them and the Calatharis followers. Like they're not. Although they did work with the Calatharis followers to capture the leader, didn't they? So there is at least some level of collusion there. But that was only. We didn't see anything beyond that. There was no suggestion that they were capturing her for like a. Like, could Linara do some thought about like if there's a ritual or something that like capturing someone of high blood, potentially virginal?
Yeah, go ahead and give me a either history or arcana check. Probably history.
Arcana, both are +5, so let's do an Arcana because she's thinking specifically about the magic aspect of it. Oh, good.
Oh dear.
Well,
You
doesn't need
don't.
to go on.
I mean, there's always rituals that can be made stronger through blood,
Mhm.
but there would have to be a reason for it to be that blood.
Yeah.
And that's about all I can give you with a 7.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, that's fair. That is a reasonable summary. I did not roll particularly highly. I can't think of anything specific. It's certainly not something that I would be like that kind of dark magic is certainly not something that Lunara would be that interested in. So yeah. It's curious. Unless it's a ransom, just a simple ransom scheme, but feels curious.
It does.
All right, well, I guess Way and Adriel and I will look into the kidnapping plot, and you can do some research, or
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Give me a shout if you need me for anything. Come
Yeah,
find
I
me.
mean-
I'll be among the books probably.
Adriel, Way, do either of you have something in mind that you'd like to look into?
I've seen no signs so far.
I just kind of shrug.
Okay,
Nothing.
so yeah, let's go see if we can figure out how to get a audience with the Sheik. Oh boy.
Does your master have any suggestions on how you might get that?
Yeah, I don't think walking in and being like, "Hey, I'm part of a secret order that's operated out of your city for 1,000 years. Can we talk?" is gonna work.
No.
He says if the merchants guilds often speak with the sheik for various reasons. If you have a way to get in with them, you could perhaps use that as a means of gaining an audience with the sheik, or even just gaining some insight as to what is going on in the palace. You do not necessarily need to speak with the sheik directly. People in the palace may have some ideas. People who go into the palace may have some ideas. And I'm gonna just throw up this map of Bralazar once again. There are lots of places here that you guys have not been. So, for example, the Merchants Guild would be a very powerful organization that would have communications in and out of the palace all the time. Also, you know that the Sand Voyagers are another very powerful organization that would be in and out of the palace all the time. Here we
Right.
go.
Well, I guess I don't know. Let's pick a spot and go check it out. Go check out. Well, I guess the Merchants Guild housing.
There's also, the slavers have a lot of power in the city, and you've got ties to the slavers, although not
Yeah,
big
I'm sure
ones.
they'll be super happy to see us.
Okay, so the plan is to head over to the Merchants Guild first.
Unless somebody's got a better idea.
I don't.
Well, be prepared to do all the talking because you're the charismatic one.
No.
I'm the
not a
foreigner.
good talker.
I'd do it, but I'm in the library.
Unless Lunara wants to come with us to get us an in with the.
I mean, didn't I meet the girl at one point? It's been a while.
You did run into somebody in the streets. I don't know if it was the princess, and
It
you never
was the
told any of us.
princess. Yeah, it was the princess. I'm just trying to remember the whole incident. It's been a while.
So it was ages ago. Yeah, it was last time you were here, which is a long time ago. You ran into her on the street. She was meeting with somebody. And you didn't get a lot of information from
Yeah.
her, but you helped her get back to the palace. That is so cool.
What? Oh, the
Sorry, the picture Lunar put in chat.
so I would. What was the print? Do I remember her name? Well, what was her name?
Princess
She-
Shadala?
Yeah, I think that was right.
Yeah, her name was Princess Shadala, but that's not the name that she gave you.
Oh,
I think she gave you a fake name.
did she? As I brought her all the way to the palace, didn't I? And she snuck back in. I don't. It's so long.
She did sneak back in. Sorry, I'm looking for that session here.
Train your wagon. Jasmine, she said her name was.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, session 18. This was.
Thank you. Yes.
so I wouldn't know then. I wouldn't. I would think I met somebody else.
Well, I mean, if you suspect she was the princess, then I think at the time Adriel suspected who she was, because you were definitely talking about it, and you were aware that the name she had given, you were aware that she was lying, and that there was something else going on. You were aware that she had not given you her real name.
Yeah.
So Adriel is aware of all of these things. It wouldn't be crazy for him to suspect that it was the princess. So yes.
I guess we could. I can ask someone. Please tell the princess our mutual friend Jasmine is here to see her.
You could. Who could tell that to?
That could work. It could also end up with all of us in jail because somebody just attempted to abduct her.
Yeah. Considering that she was the target of an abduction, I don't think they're going to be much open to official visitors. Certainly not weird-looking ones like us in the middle of the day.
This is why Adriel should not be talking. He will get us all into bigger trouble.
All right, Lunara, save the reading for later. We need your help.
Okay, fine. God, how are we going to investigate this? I really don't know. I guess, starting, trying to find any kind of, how do I put it? Word on the street, what happened.
Hunting down the rumor mill?
Yeah, hunt down the rumor mill. Try and pick that apart and then work out where to go from there. Anyone have any contacts we can go and see?
So you've got Happy Hogan's Desert Igloo. Is that tavern that you were at before, and you guys got a ton of rumors and stuff out of there. That's kind of that's probably the best gossip mill in town.
Yeah. That's worth a go, I guess.
We can start there. I mean, after that, we can stop by Odal's, I guess, and I can see if
Yep.
they have any information that wasn't included at the bar.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that might help us sift through whatever information we get from the bar as well.
Okay, so you guys go to Happy Hogan's Desert Igloo. If you recall, this place is an igloo. It's built to look like one exactly. It's not made out of ice and snow, as that magic would be too expensive. But it is shaped in this big concrete thing that's whitewashed and is shaped in the shape of an igloo. And Happy Hogan is always behind the bar. Doesn't seem to matter what time of day or night you come in. He's always there. He's always Happy Hogan. And
He's always cleaning a glass, and yet there are no clean glasses.
exactly.
Yeah.
And Roland the minstrel is sitting strumming on his lute when you guys enter, and you also see Rose is there, the waitress, and she's sort of cleaning off some tables and clearing it out for the next group. It's fairly full. You guys it's probably like lunchtime-ish. And so people are here to kind of grab a bite to eat. There's not a lot of like crazy drinking going on at this time of day. But there are a lot of people just here to eat. It doesn't seem as though the current state of Bralazar has affected the business too much at this point.
Mm-hmm.
It still seems to be quite popular. People still seem to be able to afford to go out to eat. And so, people are getting their wares, and Rose sees you and she says, there's seats at the bar if you want to get seated right away, or it'll be about 5 minutes for a table.
Should we wait for a table? I have a thought on how I can gather a little bit of intel. So,
why don't we start at the bar and get dibs on the
okay.
next table?
Yeah, we can do that.
And as we make our way to the bar, Magnus will comment that he's surprised at how empty the bar is itself, considering the current state of the world.
And when you get to the bar, you see the reason for that. There is a 3-drink limit. That there's a sign up there that says all patrons are limited to 3 drinks maximum due to shortages.
Oh no, they've started rationing the booze already.
And Happy comes up to you and says, "Greetings, friends. What can I get you to drink?"
I'm just checking my money. Oh, I'm actually kind of flush. I will take whatever the equivalent of really high percentage beer is.
Ah, the Scorpion Sting. Yes, of course. Pours you a glass of Scorpion Sting ale.
Mead, please.
Lunara will take some kind of wine.
Okay, wine
Sorry.
for Lunara, mead for Ariel.
The god string.
Adriel, you mean?
Oh,
Ariel.
I've got
We're getting
Disney
all the
princesses
Disney
on the brain.
princesses now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dibs on Mulan.
Miss Magaris is dressing me up. That's why she's.
Oh, goodness me. Are you bringing Miss Magaris with you, by the way, the little girl?
I would have no reason
I
not to
think we
have her
have
with
to.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
If she
I would
wants,
have said
if she
we-
wants to follow
I mean,
us.
Oh, yeah.
We could have proposed leaving her at the
I don't know if I
temple
would
to
have left her.
Ilmater. She might be able to help. Like, she could be pouring through books. I mean, I realize she's a kid, but
I know. Well, wherever she would be, I feel like I would be with her.
So it seems reasonable that you would bring her along with you, absolutely. So she'll come along. She climbs up onto one of the stools, and she's given a fizzy drink by Happy. And He's just sort of standing behind the bar shooting the shit with people as people are waiting for their food and stuff. And he says, "You look like you have been doing well. Lots of people who come in here, their travels have not been so successful. It's nice to see someone who has had a successful trip. At least I hope your trip was successful. I presume, I suppose."
Yeah, reasonably successful. The city's looking worse for wear, though. What have we missed?
"Oh, a great battle. I have never seen anything like it before. The walls. I hid inside my igloo. I'm not going to lie. They came and they threw themselves against the walls, but they were unsuccessful, and our guards repelled them and turned them away. It was very brave. There were fiendish creatures that came and attacked. Creatures with wings that would fly over top of the city walls and grab unsuspecting citizens, fly off with them, and drop them from on height.
Oh, fun.
And while all this was going on, of course, they tried to capture the princess.
Yeah, what happened with that? Tell me more.
She was kept safe by the might of the king's men. They
While fending off the attack.
indeed. Rumor has it that no one had realized she had been captured, but someone was able to get word that there was a plan in place. And with that information, they saved her at the last minute.
Lunara smirks slightly at that. Any idea, like, who it was that tried to capture her? Like, obviously, it's interesting that it was timed so perfectly with the attack.
There are some people who say that the attack was timed that way so that they could capture her in the distraction.
Yeah, I figure.
There had been attempts before, apparently, but this was the one that was almost successful.
There have been more attempts before this one?
That is what they say. I do not know myself, but I imagine whoever tipped off the sheik about the princess will be rewarded handsomely for what they have done.
That's only fair, I guess. That Lunara kind of looks over at Magnus and says, "That could be our in."
I mean, possible, but we don't actually know. We should have asked how the message was conveyed to him.
Because if we could know that, we could follow that chain and.
Well, just so that we would have credibility if we went and said, like, "Hey, we saved your princess."
Yeah.
Because none of us spoke to him. I spoke to Ardath.
Yeah, that is a good idea. Maybe have a word with Ardath, find out how that happened.
Any other major happenings in the city?
Yes, indeed. The slavers have taken a big hit. No one knows exactly what has happened, but apparently the market for slaves has dried right up. People are starting to charge an arm and a leg for a decent slave around here. It's ridiculous.
It's truly a shame.
Almost like it's immoral or something.
Hey, see, I'm guessing they've. I'm assuming they've canceled all of the races, right?
Oh yes, races have canceled, banned. Too dangerous outside of the walls.
I mean, that is a shame.
They also say, and he sort of like lowers his voice and leans in really close. They're saying that the Assassin's Guild is thinking of taking matters into their own hands.
In what way?
I do not know the details, but there are rumors on the streets that something is going to happen, and soon.
I feel they'd be foolish to attempt anything on the prince or Shadala. Sorry, prince or princess at the moment. I mean, they're the only thing really standing between the city and the winged fiends.
Perhaps it is not them that they wish to assassinate.
Who then?
I do not know. I've just, like I said, I've just heard the hints of whispers.
Question about the igloo. Is there like any kind of like raftering in the inside in here anywhere that like I could have Quoth kind of wander over to like listen in to what other tables are saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I would think that
Hmm.
there's probably a ceiling to it of some kind. There's got to be some kind of structural supports and things, and
Okay.
there's also decorations and stuff up. So yeah, Quoth can kind of
Okay. So yeah, while
flutter
this is
around.
happening, I would have had like as soon as we came into the room, Lenara probably would have like sent Quoth up into the rafters to like just wander over the tops of tables and just listen to what people are saying,
Sure. Yeah.
and then give me a report back on that kind of information.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I will have a little think on what you will overhear. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about with Happy Hogan?
Nothing for me.
I'll
Nothing
take that.
coming to mind personally.
Mm-mm.
Okay. So you are at that point. Rose calls you over and says, "Your table's ready if you want some food." And brings you over to the table where you can sit and have a chat. And I guess at that point, Lunara, you would start getting your reports from the Raven.
Yes.
Okay. You are going to hear. Actually, give me a let's get a perception check from Quoth to see
Okay.
how much Quoth can hear.
Perception +3. Let's go. Normal roll. Perception. 17. That's not bad at all.
Nice. Okay. One of the things you overhear is there's a couple of guards who are sitting at a table having lunch. They're kind of having breakfast. They were on the night shift.
Okay.
And they clearly work in the palace. They're dressed in plain clothes at the moment. Still got their badges and their swords,
Yeah.
so you know that they're palace guards. And you overhear, or Quoth, I guess, overhears them talking about the symbol, and one of them saying, I'm sure they weren't going for her, they were going for the symbol. And the other guard saying, that's ridiculous. There's no use to having the symbol. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And he says, I'm telling you, man, it was so weird. They really seem to be focused on the symbol and not so much on her. I think there's something about that. I think that's what they really want. And the other guy is going, dude, you're crazy. Like, the symbol, it's just a symbol. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Why would they go through all that trouble for the symbol? It makes much more sense that they're actually trying to kidnap her. And they're kind of going back and forth. And this one guy just seems to be kind of concerned about that.
I think. Okay. Sorry, go on.
Other thing. Sorry, you're going to overhear one more thing.
Okay.
And this is going to be. This is going to be a couple of merchants talking.
Okay.
And they are talking about sort of transporting items through the desert and how are we going to get our wares out of Bralazar. And they are discussing the fact that they've heard rumors that there is a group of winged creatures, more of these winged fiends that are to the north of town, they seem to be waiting for something, and it's making them uncomfortable about going out into the desert because they're concerned that they're going to start attacking main roads soon.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Hearing that information, Linara will like relay everything she gets from Quoth, and then she's gonna watch the group of guards and wait for the skeptical one to like go to the bathroom for something.
Yeah, you
Um,
wait. He gets up to go get another set of forks or
get a
something. I
drink
don't know.
or take a pee
Yeah.
or whatever. Well, I'm waiting for him to be away from the table for a little while, like actually going to the restroom or whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
Because
Sure.
as soon as he does, Lunara's gonna slip over and take up the other chair.
Okay.
And say, "Hey, so
You sit down,
I
and
have
the guard kind of like looks
yeah.
at you, and like pretty woman, and he's kind of like, "Oh, hello,
Hi, my name's Lunara.
hi, my name
Hi.
is Fantasy Name Generator."
Mm.
Yeah, I'll
Duncan,
tell you my name in a
Idaho.
minute.
Duncan, Idaho. Yeah.
Duncan, Idaho. My name's Duncan, Idaho. How can I help you?
So I couldn't help but hear you talking about the princess's kidnapping attempt, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm fascinated by how and why that could have happened. I really want to kind of get to the bottom of that.
Can you make me a persuasion roll with advantage?
Sure. 16.
Nice. He looks flattered. He kind of blushes a little
Yeah.
bit.
And
Uh,
she'll probably lay it on a little bit thick about, it's so good that there's such tough, such manly guards protecting the poor innocent princess, and I'm glad that nothing bad happened.
he is like, yeah, he's kind of blushing. And he says to you, like, actually, I was there. I was one of the guards that
You
helped
were,
bring him
really?
back. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you mean by the symbol? I'm curious. What's the symbol?
Oh,
It's
you must have seen it. It's that she wears that necklace around her neck all the time.
oh, it's like a seal of office, or
I think it's just a necklace. Her mother used to wear it as well. It's a family thing,
like
these
family
royal
crest,
families
family
and their.
heirloom thing. Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's broken though. That's the thing. I don't know why. I
Oh,
don't understand why anyone would want it. It's broken.
interesting. So she kind of asks him to like to tell her the story of what happened, and is fully expecting that like overblown, like, oh, I was such a hero kind of story.
Oh, and you get one. You get one. He puffs himself up pretty big. So he tells you that she was there have been several attempts on her, but the biggest one and the one that was almost successful was one the night of the attack on the city. And he says that he and some others were in charge of helping. He was in charge of protecting the whole palace.
Sure, definitely, yeah,
The way that he puts it up, while other
Yeah.
guards were out on the walls, and they had moved the family into like the royal family into like a room that they thought was safe, trying to keep them all together so where they could keep an eye. And everyone thought that everyone was there, and then there was some confusion about who was where. Anyway, it ended up that the princess was missing.
And how did
But
you receive word that she was missing?
He says one of the other guards came to us and told us that there was going to be an attempt on her, and that was when we did a head count and realized. You see, we had the family in two areas, and each area thought that she was in the other. There was a lot of confusion. You have to understand that night, and it was thanks to this one guard, this brave guard that came in that told us this. And we were able to start a hunt and managed to find her. She was being dragged through the streets And he kind of smiles a little bit and says, she did a pretty good job of protecting herself, I've got to say. She's not a
That's good.
wilting desert rose by any means, but
Mhm.
she was overpowered, and we
What
we
did
helped her.
they look like, the people that took her or that tried to take her?
Well, one of them was wearing a cloak. I couldn't get a good view, but I think he had scales.
Interesting. Okay, and the others?
He says the others, I honestly, I don't remember much. Just people. They were just people trying to take the princess. I was too busy trying to save her to really get a good description. They were wearing. There was no uniform. There was no. You wouldn't know they were an army except they were all attacking together. It was a bad night.
Yeah, it sounds it. I'm glad you managed to keep her safe.
Yes, I single-handedly saved her, and she was very grateful.
Of course. Lenara tries very desperately to keep a straight face, noticing the embellishments on the story.
Awesome.
Do you want me to roll like a deception to see if he can?
Yeah. See if he notices. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Are we going normal or advantage since he's a little?
I think advantage. He's pretty.
Okay.
He's pretty convinced you're. Yeah.
Yeah.
No trouble there.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad the city here is much. The people in the city can sleep much safer in each other's beds with your people like you keeping us safe.
He says, yes. Well, happy to protect and serve, man. And let's just switch over to the other table while Lunara is doing all of this. Is there anything in particular that the rest of you would like to do? Are you just kind of waiting for her to get back? Are you guys trying to interact with anyone in the bar?
Magnus has kind of lost the thread and he is fully focused on his bowl of mango chutney chicken.
Oh, that sounds delicious. I would be too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we've been out of town, like on the road for a while now. So this is the first
long
real warm meal you could get. So he's cast everything to the side now. That's what he's doing.
Awesome. Okay. What about Adriel? Anything?
Adriel's just enjoying his mead because it's the drink of the gods and hanging out with his new friend.
Awesome. Yeah, she's doing like occasionally like little magic things, like just like when she's playing with her toy, like one of them will float, and it just, when you're pretending that like it's raining, there'll be a little rain cloud and rain will fall, just like little tiny things. But the kid definitely has some magic, and she doesn't really seem to have a lot of control over it. It's as she's imagining these things that they're happening.
I'll take note of that.
Okay. And what about Wei? Anything going on with him?
Wei's enjoying his water and his vegetarian options, if they have any.
Awesome. Oh, yeah, of course.
Licking the bowl dry because we haven't had a decent meal in a while.
Yeah, I think everyone's just enjoying the fact that you're back in town and all the little amenities that you haven't been able to have, and the fact that there's not sand in your meal is probably quite nice as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Lunara
Lunara,
Lunara will hang out with him for a little bit, just try and get all the information she can from him, and then kind of take her leave and go and sit back with the group and relay what she's got.
Sure.
It suggests to me, I definitely very interested hearing about the symbol. I definitely think we should try and see if we can get ourselves ingratiated and have a look at the symbol. I want to know if that could be useful. because if this is related to the Calatharis thing, and that symbol has some level of importance, I think it's very useful.
Right, so I guess the next step is to figure out how to get into the palace and see this
Yeah.
symbol then.
Yeah, I think we need
any-
to find the route that your master took to get information to the palace, and see if we can be recognized for providing that information.
I'm also a little concerned of the questions that are going to be directed at us going that route. Namely, how did you learn about the attempt? Like, I really don't want to be sharing a ton of information about what we've been doing.
We will not give. We can just say that we're Bunny quotes archaeologists. We found a guy that had been captured, and said that he was being. Give them the potted version of what happened at the last temple, minus our information about Calatharius, because that I don't know how related to Calatharius that actually is.
It also just now occurs to me that the slavers operate freely in this city, and explaining that the slavers are the ones who have just tried to kidnap. Oh no, I guess it wasn't the slavers; it was the cult, wasn't it?
I'm a little I'm a little confused as to who that actually was, because it was he was deposed. Sorry, Kirsty, can we get a run back on like
Yes.
why he was deposed and so on, because that was a while back.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I'm a little rusty
So
on that. Lunara should know.
the leader of the slavers
Mhm.
was deposed by his second in command. The basically for power, from what you guys learned, it was basically the second in command wanted to be in command, and so got rid of the guy who was previously in charge. The guy who was previously in charge. So the reason that they were kind of at odds was because they had differing views about how to make the most money out of the slaves. So the guy who was in charge was the guy who was like, no, we feed them, we treat them well. Again, for slaves, this does not make him like the good guy by any means. But we feed them, we treat them well, and we spend a little bit more money on them to charge more money for them. Whereas the other guy was basically like, no, quantity. We just get a whole ton of them. We feed them the bare minimum. We keep them in line with whips, and then we sell.
Stack them high, sell them cheap.
Yeah. So it was basically different philosophies on how to make money that kind of caused the rift that they were sort of fighting. Rather than killing him directly, the second in command had him captured by the cult people and basically let them deal with him.
Okay, so he kind of engineered his capture, or right, like we don't get the impression they actually worked together. We just get the impression that they kind of engineered him being captured by the cult. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yes.
Right.
He was basically using the cult in order to keep the people who were on the first guy's side thinking that he was the good guy and just stepping in because something had happened to him, as opposed to, he was assassinated.
Right.
It was it was a political maneuver, was all it was.
Right. And he knew about the attempted kidnap because he'd heard them talking about it, or
so the first in command had heard the cult talking about the attempted kidnapping because they were going to they had plans to make that happen.
Okay, so it wasn't the Sand Voyagers that were, or wasn't the slavers that were doing the kidnapping, it was the Calatharius cult.
Correct.
Right, okay, that makes more sense and is clearer.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot clearer for me now. I will say, now that we know the actual truth of what's going on, the truth is whatever we make it, because nobody else made it out of there alive. So if we say the slavers are trying to kidnap the princess, We
I
could
mean,
theoretically get them in hot water.
there were a couple of bodies you didn't find.
Hmm.
But you don't know where they are, so it might be true. You might be the only ones who escaped.
I'm posing it as an option.
No, I feel like we tell them that like we found a Calatharius cult. We heard from one of the prisoners that they had held that that this kidnap was going to happen. So we passed the message up the chain, and we wanted to check in and make sure everything's okay. Post.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably fair. And our reasoning for being all the way out in the middle of the desert during this absolute shitstorm is
We are we're archaeologists. We're we dig in ruins and see if we can see what history we can find. Like Lunara can play the historian through the fucking teeth.
okay. So I mean, I point at Lunara, archaeologist. I point at Way,
Hi.
caravan guard.
Hi.
Point at
Yep,
myself,
okay.
caravan guard, and I point at
Mhm.
Adriel.
Guide was hired on originally as like local tribe guide for the for the trip to the Forbidden City. Sorry, the Lost City to begin with.
Okay, that works for me. See if you can convince Adriel to keep the god talk to a minimum. Same with Ud Magaris.
Yeah, I was about to say just that. Yeah.
I can only do so much. I'm not a miracle worker here, unlike Gorm and Ismagaris. But we can try.
How about we just convince them to say nothing?
That would be nice too.
Has that ever worked for you, Way, with Adriel? All right, so let's make a quick stop by Ardath's again, just to
Yep.
figure out who or how they pass the message on.
And then see if we can follow the chain up.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea.
Okay, so the guard would have given you the name of the guard who gave him the message. I feel like that's something
Okay.
you would have asked, so I'm going to throw
Okay.
that in chat for you there.
Okay.
Is that a name I recognize at all?
You know what? Yeah. You recognize his name from the racetrack. He likes to race in his spare time.
Interesting. But I don't think he has any direct affiliation with the group.
Which group?
The Ardath's group. Not ours, like the secret 1,000-year-old organization.
Right. No, he does not have any affiliation that you are aware of.
So I know of that person. I still want to find out what the chain was from Ardath.
I think that's worth it, yeah.
Because I think he may have passed the information to somebody who passed the information to somebody, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think so.
Actually, this is probably a good time for us to take a break. Why don't we take our 10 minutes here?
I was going to say, this is the perfect time for us to go talk to the Sheik real quick. Well, Gorm is busy with the facilities.
All right, so let's take 10, everyone. We'll be back at half past the hour.
All right, sounds good.
Azar Al-Kaba.
What's
Uh,
our play here? We're just gonna come out and say like, "Hey, we're the ones who got you the message about the princess,"
Yep.
or okay,
I kind of feel like it. Yeah, we like to be recognized for our actions. Like I feel like saying as weird as it is for Lunara to suggest she wants to be recognized for that, it's probably an easier play and easier for them to understand that we want to be recognized for our actions than telling them the truth that we want to see what the princess's necklace looks like, etc., etc. They're going to understand wanting to be recognized for helping.
yeah,
They're not
they
necessarily
understand.
going to understand.
Pay me as opposed to,
Yes.
hey, I want to learn some stuff.
Yeah. Pay me is a much easier thing to sell than the alternative.
Well, let's try and track down Al-Kaba.
Okay. I am going to go ahead and say that you don't have any trouble tracking him down. This is someone, Magnus, who you are familiar with, and so it's fairly easy for you to, kind of through your contacts, you would know kind of where he lives and be able to get in touch with him. And so you head on over to his home. He's actually he seems to be doing some repairs to his chariot that he races. You can see he's doing some modifications. It looks like it was damaged recently, either in a race or maybe in the fight that happened. And he's like basically underneath it on one of those rolly boards, doing some work to the underneath.
Yeah, I imagine I kind of like pound on the open door to the garage and just go, Azar, if it isn't the hero of the day.
And he sort of slides out and he says, Magnus, I haven't seen you on the track in a while. Obviously not recently because no track, but good to see you, my friend.
Yeah, picked up some work. Doing some caravan guarding.
Doing some honest work for a change. That's nice.
Got to make money somehow.
Well, it's not chariot racing, is it?
Sure doesn't seem to be lately. So, well, that's new. What the fuck? What'd you do to your face? You got a little too close with the razor?
He's like, yeah, shaving accident.
I recommend maybe practicing on something else.
Says I'll keep that in mind next time. What are you doing here?
My employer actually came looking for you, and I just gestured to Lunara.
Oh, you're working for the ladies now.
They pay
Someone
better.
has to.
Plus, it's something to look at.
Indeed.
Lunara gives you a look even through the goggles. You know exactly the look she's just given you.
He walks up to you and he says, well, if Magnus can't service all your needs, you just let me know and I can give you a hand.
I can manage, thank you. Lunara just tried not to vomit then. So I hear you were the person that relayed the message about the attempt on the princess.
That's right. I saved the princess's life. She thanked me and everything.
Wow, how remarkable. Where do you think that message came from?
I heard some of the cultists talking about it, and I knew what the plan was going to be, so I ran to the palace and saved her. It's a big ceremony. I got a medal. Want to see it?
No, thank you. See, from what I hear, Ardith came out and grabbed you in the street when you were looking really the worst for wear, and told you to go and tell the palace what was happening.
Sorry, who?
I describe Ardith.
Never heard of him before in my life.
Really? Because
What are you
he
saying?
gave us a perfect description of you. And thing is, he got that information from us.
Oh, did he now?
Because
Well,
we found out firsthand that it was happening.
Well, that's not what I heard.
Really? Considers. What do we have here? Because, I mean, I don't want to cause any trouble for you, but I do kind of want us to get recognized for our work, because we put our lives on the line to gather information.
I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry I can't help. I overheard the information and I passed it on, and I've already been recognized for my work.
Magnus pipes up from like the other side of the chariot because he sort of lost the thread for a second there. He's scoping out the competition, and he he just goes, "Funny that you overheard it from some cultists, but you didn't apprehend any cultists."
Hmm.
I was too busy making sure the princess was safe. Like my medal says.
Magnus just gives a little shrug to Lunara and goes back to like poking and prodding at the chariot.
Fuck, I'm trying to think of an angle here. Can I get an insight? I'm trying to work out like a way into that little psyche of his. I realize it's not going to be a particularly
Sure.
easy test.
Yeah, go ahead, make me an insight roll.
Fuck me.
Oh dear.
I mean, you don't need a good insight roll to know that he's a glory seeker. He
Yeah.
races in the chariot racing. He's basking in the glory of saving the princess. What if we say, we want an audience so we can extol his virtues to the princess?
I mean, he's already had that audience with the princess. He's already been thanked. And we've already mentioned that we know that he's purely grabbing the glory. He's not going to take the risk of handing us the opportunity to fuck him over.
Is there a way we could get him more glory?
I don't know how. Fuck. I really can't think of an angle of an attack with this one.
All right, Gorham, what's your godly guidance? What are we doing here?
I mean, I don't know. It's a hard one. What god do you serve? I ask him.
He says, Anu. Of course.
And what do I know about Anu? Good. I'm assuming good aligned.
Yeah, so he would be one you would all be familiar with. Anu is sort of more from this part of the world. Adriel, he's one of the newer gods. He was sort of worshipped after your pantheon disappeared, went out of favor, whatever. That was when the newer gods came from. And Anu is the sort of he's the overarching god. He's the Odin of the pantheon. He's good aligned ish. But he's also because he's over all of the other gods, he's got facets of all of them.
Okay.
Yeah. I am so very tempted to just cast Cause Sphere on him and just awaken his fear of mortality and persuade him through those means. That is not the nicest option.
I wouldn't say it's even the safest option.
No.
I mean, we still have one more course of action, which to just go to the palace and be like, hey, that warning you guys got was from us. we would like to talk.
Yeah, we could try that. The slight issue is obviously they've already rewarded this guy, so what are they going to do? But
I mean, we don't even have to go in looking for a reward.
yeah,
You just say we just want to talk to try and
Yep.
figure out what's going on.
yeah, we want to find out what information you have and see if we can, well, offer to take down the cult for them, offer our services.
Just tell them Gorm and Usmagaris would like.
Yeah, that'll work great.
Magnus would just hold up a finger, like, maybe not that idea.
Like to have an audience.
Lunara might actually like disguise self as Ardeth Bay and just see if he like, just see how he reacts. Catch
Do you
the,
just cast it right in front of him?
yeah, she's just gonna like click her fingers and like use the hat of disguise to turn herself into Ardeth Bay. Ardeth, was that his last name?
No. Are you turning into my mentor, or are you turning into this guy?
Yes, I'm turning into the
Oh,
mentor.
okay.
I'm turning into Ardeth.
Yeah, it's Ardeth Bay is
Yep.
the name of the
Okay,
mentor.
Yeah.
He kind of looks at you and says, "Nice party trick."
Recognize him now?
Like I said, never seen him before in my life.
Insight that? I know the answer, but I want to see how well he's.
Sure, go ahead, make me an insight check. Lunar, he seems a bit shaken. He seems a bit concerned.
See, we want to go and discuss the kidnapping and find out if there's anything we can do to help to prevent it from happening further. And now we can either go and say that we helped you get the information that caused the problem, or we can go and counteract the story you gave them. And then I'm sure that will cause you some trouble. We can be very persuasive. We have a lot of information about the cult that maybe they don't have, and maybe we'll put some pieces in place that will help them sort things out. And I don't know if you want them to find out that you've maybe overblown your place in the whole situation.
Make me a... Sorry, were you going to say something, Chris?
I was just going to ask a quick question. Do I have any dirt on this guy? Like, obviously, he's a guard, so any dirt would be nice.
Make me a... Let's make me an investigation roll to see if you've dug up anything in the past or heard anything in the past about him.
This will be terrible.
Oh, no, that's not bad. That is not bad at all.
It's not bad. So, yeah, you're kind of aware that this guy, yes, he's a glory seeker, and he's not... He's not one... It's like someone who's going to actively go out and do terrible things, but he's also going to take advantage of every situation. You know that, like, in the past, in the... when you've been racing, he's definitely one of the people who cheats in the chariot races. And he's known for using dirty tricks. He's known to kind of not stop at anything. And in terms of him as a guard, you've heard that like he's the kind of guy who like he greases palm and he looks the other way. He's that kind of person.
But overall, still a reasonably good guard. He's just willing to accept bribes. Has he accepted bribes for anything like heinous?
So, I guess Adriel will look at him and say, "You do not seem like an honorable person. Do you think Anu will accept you into his halls?"
He says, I serve Anu and I'm not. Yeah, of course. Just because I'm not honorable all the time, I'm looking out for myself. There's nothing wrong with that.
I am Gorm, and this is Usmagaris. Help us, and I will ensure that your god lets you in.
Never heard of you. What's a Gorm?
How did he react to my semi-threat?
Yeah, so he is he's looking uncomfortable. And he's sort of saying like look, you can't prove anything. I'm not just leave
See,
me alone kind of
I'm
thing.
not.
And he's trying to like get
I'm not.
away from you.
I'm not looking to get you in trouble. Unless you make me have to. What I'm looking for is for us to get at least some level of recognition for the effort we put into to secure her safety. And maybe, just maybe, get some employment to take down the rest of the cult. That's what I want. I'm not gonna make your life difficult unless you make me. Don't make me.
You could even frame it like we're your contacts that you've been,
Yeah.
sending out recon out into the desert to try and learn more about what's going on.
Give me a persuasion check with advantage, and anyone of the three of you who has spoken to him can do that.
Thank you.
23.
Yeah. So he says, okay, look, I'll make you a deal. I'll get you in the palace to speak with someone. Maybe you just don't make any mention of the fella,
The what, sorry?
the Bay fella. He
Sure.
basically
The who?
doesn't like
Never heard of him.
Don't know
he
what you're
says-
talking about.
Exactly.
This guy? Oh, sorry. Turns off the disguise self.
So who am I trying to get you in to speak with?
Someone in charge of security, someone senior enough that could talk about what happened and could
So the captain of the guard?
I guess like they
That's
can
an
always
option,
send
but I've kind of
something.
always really wanted to meet the princess. I mean,
yeah, meeting the princess would
you
be
see her
lovely,
from
but-
afar, but I've never met her.
Mhm.
You want to meet the princess?
I mean, you got that kind of pull, right? You're a high-ranking guard. You're the hero of the city. You spin up some tale like, hey, my contacts who have been out researching the attacks have returned with some vital information. They would like to speak with the princess.
It's probably
going to
have to be the. It's probably gonna have to be the captain of the guard. I don't think they're gonna.
I mean,
just
the
go,
captain
oh,
could
your
be there at the
contacts."
same time. Maybe she just wants
Mm.
to thank us at the same time, you know? We don't want to put them out.
Mhm.
I can get you a meeting with the captain of the guard. I don't know if I can get you a meeting with princess.
You're as terrible as a guard as you are as a chariot racer.
Ooh,
Dude. He's like, no one sees the princess. No one sees her.
Yeah,
get you-
I feel like if anyone's going to arrange the further steps, it will be him. I don't think it will be our friend here.
He says, just give me a couple hours and I'll get you a meeting.
Okay.
His name is Talhir.
Tahir Aldib. Okay. Tahir Aldib.
Yeah, I guess as we leave, I'll just turn to Alcaba and be like, and if you go back on our deal, she can look like anybody she's ever met.
I can.
His face goes
I can
white as
do-
the implications of that like fit in.
I can do things you can't even imagine.
And then I clap him on the shoulder and say, see you on the track when it reopens.
I look forward to it. Yeah, he sort of mutters and he heads off immediately to go and try and set something up. And it is true to his word. It is a couple of hours later
Mhm.
when you get an invitation to the palace to speak with the captain of the guard. So he comes along with you.
Yeah.
And he brings you to the palace.
I will say, is there anything we wanted to do in those couple of
Oh, that's a
hours
good
while we
point.
wait for word?
Like I might spend some of that time like investigating, like going through the library, just see if I can find anything. Just give it like a skim over.
Sure. So you want to kind of basically, what are you researching?
Trying to find out anything maybe about her, about the family symbol, or that sort of thing. Actually, yeah, primarily the family symbol. That's the bit that's piqued my interest.
Sure. Give me an investigation, please, with advantage because you are in a library.
Yay! Investigation. 21.
Nice. Okay. So her family has been tied to the royal family for many, many years. In fact, they were once the ruling family, and they're still a very powerful, noble house.
Mhm.
They have a family symbol that is a like a palm,
Okay.
and it's sort of like the family crest, if you will.
Okay.
And it's something that they have always had. And so you know that this palm is sort of their family symbol.
Mhm.
You don't find anything sort of more specific than that, but you do find out that
Okay.
information.
Is there any link to the mage
Markov?
to Martek? Yeah, to Martek.
Martek,
Are there
sorry.
any connections I could make potentially in there?
Her family was the ruling family at the time that he was alive.
Right. Okay, that's interesting. Okay.
Okay. So, anyone else want to do anything before we hit the palace?
While she was doing that, I would have gone to speak to Otel just to see if there was any more useful information that could be gained. Also, to see if they're still alive.
Yeah, so Odal is home, and uh, has her their arm in a sling, and has like some pretty serious bruising on their face, and it just kind of looks a bit of a mess, to be honest. But they're still tinkering away on their chariot when or on your chariot, I guess. When you come by and they see you and just great big hug. My friend, you're safe. I'm so glad to see you. Really,
Is
really
that
glad to see
from
you alive.
is that from the races or is that from the flying monsters?
Flying monsters.
Oh well, that's good at least. For a
Uh,
second there, I thought you replaced me.
no, don't you worry. I'm I'm still doing a lot better in the races. Though there aren't any lately. We need to get this monster situation taken care of so we can get back out on the track.
Well, I'm sure there are some great minds working on it.
I hope so.
And then, yeah, I'm just going to ask, like, bring me up to speed on what's going on in the city. I know about the winged monsters. I know that they're rationing booze. What other hells have they subjected you to?
So Odal tells you that the city permits are getting harder and harder to get. The more like just becoming a citizen, getting into the city, they're starting to really, really restrict it. They've been turning away people who can't afford to buy their way inside the city. And that there's just been a lot of refugees coming through, and basically Bralazar is kind of putting a stop to that and being like, no, we're full, go somewhere else. There is nowhere else to go. So Odal says, like, I haven't dared leave the city because I'm worried I'm not going to get back in. So if you do go, just make sure that you got a way back in. I mean, you're a citizen, so you're probably fine, but it's going to be tricky.
Wait, are you not a citizen?
No.
I'm going to throw her whatever it used to cost to become one in coin. But like, you need to fix that.
I can't. I'm not human.
Why not? Well, I mean,
I
neither
mean-
am I.
Neither is Lunara.
Neither is Gorm. No, Gorm's not a citizen, so.
Do I know a
I-
contact who will fudge the paperwork?
You know,
Because I mean, that's the only way I would have become a citizen.
yeah. Yeah, you know someone who you can talk to get paperwork sorted out. And
What am I
Odal,
down in
starts-
coinage?
With all the fudged paperwork, it's going to cost you 200 gold pieces.
Okay. I mean,
I
I'm
have
pretty broke now.
120. I have 125 plat that I'm holding for you, so you are not broke.
Oh, sweet. Well, that's all the money I got now, basically. So you just
Odal
hold on
just
to
starts
that.
to tear up. I can't. Why? How can you afford this? How? What? Really?
Caravan guarding pays dividends.
It must. Thank you. Oh my goodness, thank you.
No problem. I need you to look into something for me. There's rumors about the Assassin's Guild.
Yeah.
Something about them thinking about taking matters into their own hands. I need to know about it.
Okay. I'll
I-
find it out. I actually have a contact or two.
I sort of thought you might. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be in town. I got to go meet with the captain of the guard, I guess. So I got to go
Captain
meet
of
up
the
with
guard?
group. It's a long story.
You're moving up in the world, bud.
Well, we'll see how long that lasts. Keep working on the chariot, but don't blow all the money on the chariot. Go get your citizenship.
I promise. And anything left over, I'll blow on the chariot.
That's my lady. All right. I'm gonna go find the rest of the group, probably at the
Okay.
library. I'm guessing.
I'll if you ask me, I'll give you back your platinum.
I got no use for it right now. Just hold on to it. Spend it on scrolls or something.
While they're doing that,
If you suggest.
Gorm would have been walking around with these Megaris and trying to go up to as many refugees as he can and spread the worm of Gorm and try to get them to convert and tell them about the Lost City and where they should go if they're looking for a new home, and to gather as many as they can.
I love the fact that your character name is like slowly changing into Gorm.
Yeah, right. We went from Adriel to now he's just saying Gorm. Oh, he's
yeah,
believing.
Can you give me a persuasion, please?
Okay. Yes.
How do you
Fuck's
always
sake.
roll like this when you're persuading people to join your religion?
Yes,
Oh
because
my god, this is funny.
it's meant to be.
Clearly. Yeah, I did not start this campaign anticipating you turning into a god. I just want to say. Yeah, so you and Usmagaris walk the streets, and something interesting happens. As you talk to people and start spreading the word of yourselves, it's weird, but you honestly feel like you're walking with your sister or your brother, your sibling. You honestly feel that you feel stronger when Usmagaris is around. Like she is bolstering your power in some way. And you kind of feel a little bit more connected. And as you are talking to some of these refugees, and sort of saying to them, "It will be all right. I will help protect you. And if I do not, I will make sure that you have a place in the afterlife, and just kind of bringing what
Yeah.
comfort you can to these refugees. You just have this really vivid memory of doing this before.
Hmm.
A different city, a different time, and it's not you when you see your hand reaching out to like sort of like touch someone on the cheek to say you will be okay, and it's not your hand. And it's just this really intense memory, and then it's kind of gone, and you can't quite grab it again. You just remember having the memory rather than remembering the memory, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So I would just mumble like under my breath, I've done this before.
And Usmagaris looks at you and says, "Yes, we have, brother. Many, many years ago. Let's hope this time it ends better."
How did it end before?
And all of a sudden, her eyes roll back into her head, and that she gets those whites in her eyes again, and she sort of like just slumps and crumples to the ground, and she starts to cry.
I would,
And
definitely try to grab her as she fell.
yeah, so you sort of like grab her as she
Yeah.
falls, and then when she sort of comes to, she's crying, and she says, "Last time we died."
This time will be different. And I try
Hope
to
so.
reassure her.
She looks scared, and she, like the rest of the day, she kind of like holds onto your hand as you're walking around.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll continue converting.
Okay, yeah, and you do. You convert a fair number. What about Wei? What are you up to?
I really don't know. I think I'm just
Do you travel with one of the other players, or do you kind of go off and do your own thing?
probably just hang out with Magnus. He's the only one that's not insane or a nerd.
Fuck.
That's pretty fair. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I'd probably just be chit chatting with Magnus, trying to learn about the what is this region called? The Sea of Sand, Sand of Seas, sand,
Yeah.
the desert,
Desert.
Dune, Arrakis. I
Yeah.
forgot. I'd just be just asking questions. So, like, what do you guys do for fun around here besides chariot racing and all that other bullshit?
Slave bowling, that kind of thing.
Drinking, fighting, what I imagine goes on in every major city.
Eh. I'll probably be trying out, the street food, anyways, as long as it's vegetarian.
I think they
It's gotta be like some matar paneer on a street vendor, right?
exactly right. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
just
I would think.
some freshly baked bread and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a decent amount. If you can afford to pay for it, which you can. Obviously, there's a
I've
lot
got
of
a lot
people
of
here
money.
that cannot. Yeah, you guys are so rich.
Not anymore. I'm broke.
You still
No,
got
you're
like a
not.
lot
You've
of
got
platinum.
125. You have 125 platinum, my dude. That's 1,200 gold.
Which, yeah, I'm gonna say spend on scrolls except for the stipend I need for cigarettes.
Okay. We'll pay you in cigarettes.
Okay, so you guys ready to head over to the palace?
Yeah.
When we meet up with Lunara, Magnus will ask, like, "Hey, what did you manage to learn?"
Yeah,
And I will
books.
relay that the symbol, that it's like a palm tree, in their family for generations. It seems like their family was ruling this city at the time of Martek. So I'm
At the
wondering.
mention of the palm tree, Magnus will produce that trinket he was given and say, "Did it look like this?"
Yes, it did.
Interesting. Yes.
We may
Let
have
me
an
have a look
in
at.
then.
Hmm.
Although I don't think they'll buy that I'm part of the royal bloodline.
You don't quite have that appearance. I'm sorry to give you that
The
information.
complexion's a bit off, isn't it? Yeah.
It is a little, yeah. But that is interesting. Okay.
Yeah, me neither. Oh, Luna.
Okay.
I think the only person that can pass is, Cuckoo, Mr. Cuckoo over there.
Speaking of, let's go gather our pantheon and head to the palace.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay.
Probably busy trying to convert
Adriel,
out the city.
Adriel, Gorm, and Usmagaris, I need you to hang back on the god bit while we're around the palace, please. I don't want to have to explain, and I don't want to have to potentially fight someone if someone sees it, takes it the wrong way.
I have nothing to say unless there is a sign.
And if there is a sign, you'll keep it to yourself until we
have
leave,
to talk
right?
about them signs, right? So, like, let's just ignore the signs for the next
please.
3 hours, yeah?
Yeah, just don't make things harder for us, is all I'm going to ask.
Ignore the signs. Just like when we're walking down the street.
I just give
Let it take a hit
Usmagaris
by
a
a
look.
Yeah,
She gives you a
too.
look right back.
Yeah.
Yeah, you too, child.
I give her a look like the way they give looks about us. Like I give her a look about them.
See, let's just calm down on the potential blasphemy. I don't wish to be publicly executed.
So, yeah, to give you a give you a little heads up, both as Magaris and Gorm, mortals tend to get a little squirrely if they find out that there are deities walking among them. It's like when your boss drops in unannounced.
Especially if it's deities that they don't particularly like. I
Or
don't think we
haven't
should
heard
take
of.
that chance.
Or potentially haven't heard of. That does cause
Yeah.
some awkwardness.
Yeah, that too. We just keep the proselytizing on the down low.
Be assured it will all work out.
Oh boy.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Adriel, all I'm saying is I will die protecting you. Don't make me die protecting you in this palace.
I believe
the
you will
best line
live a
ever.
long life.
I mean, I'm already on my second one, so let's see how long this one goes.
All right, the palace. You walk over to where the palace is, and it is honestly, in a lot of ways, coming to the palace is like coming to a different world.
Is that pond real?
Yes, there is
Is that
water
a fucking
here.
peacock?
Yes.
I'm gonna if nobody's looking, I'm gonna quickly scoop some water and wash my pits.
Lunara will probably disguise self into like a nicer dress.
Awesome.
Yeah, I can't imagine I'm particularly clean. There's so many days in
No.
the desert.
You've just been having a sand bath every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you take a moment to wash up. It is like there's water here. There are plants here. Plants are being watered by gardeners. The palace itself is quite luxurious. The domes are leafed in gold. It's really beautiful and so at odds with everything else that is elsewhere in the city. Oh, interesting. You see Adriel start to put on a storm mask.
I mean, Magnus would just reach out and put a hand on his hand and like shake his head. Just don't do it.
Then I put it back down.
All that stuff we just talked about, that
course.
includes religious idols, which also includes masks,
My apologies.
holy symbols, and all that other stuff. Just yeah. Look, you're handsome as you are. Just be normal for once, please.
Be normal.
So I put it back in my bag, but I am dressed like I do have my nice gown on, and I'm always clean. So because he uses prestidigitate. I can't even say it. Prestidigitate. Yeah, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Lunara will press prestidigitate to be a little cleaner as well.
Okay.
I'll redo my ponytail.
Mhm.
All right. So on the way to the, as you approach the temple, suddenly realizing that you guys are a ragamuffin group, most of you stop and take a little bit of time to adjust your appearance so that you are a little bit more presentable. And you are brought inside by Al-Kaba. He seems to be quite obviously familiar with the place. He is, he just sort of like walks you in, walks you around sort of the side. You go in the servants' entrance, you don't go in the front door or anything like that. And kind of takes you into an area of the palace where it is the sort of guard room where the head guard hangs out. And his name, I've already told you, is Tahir. By the way, I made a little handout that just has
Oh,
the
thank
names.
goodness.
Yeah,
I was reaching real hard with some of those names.
yeah. I just ended it. The second one is a prince also. So the Sheikh is Qasim Arslan, and then there is Prince Hassan and Prince Chorus. So Hassan and Chorus are twins, but Hassan is the eldest and next in line for the throne. Princess Shalada, who is to be wed to Hassan. You haven't met Sathal yet. Tahir al-Dib is the captain of the guard, and Azkar al-Kaba is the guard. So hopefully that will help. I also have that hand up just open
What
right
was
now for myself.
sorry? Who was Sothal again? Sorry.
You haven't met her yet.
Okay, so we don't know actually who that is.
You don't actually know who that is. She's just on the list because you might meet her. And
Okay.
Before we go in, I've lived in this city basically my whole life. What's the deal between the twins? Does one hate the other and is trying to kill them to get the throne?
Can you make me a? Let's just do. I don't even know. I guess an
History?
intelligence check. Yeah, history.
It's the exact same. So here we go.
Okay. So you are aware that obviously they're twins. Hassan is the elder. So Hassan has all of the things, he's next in line to the throne. He's the one who goes and does all the ceremonies and is basically going to follow in his father's footsteps and everything. You probably don't know a lot about Prince Chorus other than he exists and he is the younger twin and he's, the heir and the spare, and he's the spare. In terms of their relationship, I don't, even with a higher roll, I don't see how you probably wouldn't know that.
I mean, I would have thought there might be some some gossip about.
So there's always stories going around,
Yeah.
right?
Stories about
Even if it's an
he's so
inaccurate
jealous about his
story.
older brother, or yeah.
Yeah, with a 9, I don't know that you've ever bothered to.
No, I don't care
really
about
find
royalty. I
out,
never
though.
thought I'd
Yeah.
make it this far.
I
thought
don't
I'd
think it's
die in
something
the
that
gutter
Lunara is
somewhere.
interested in. Can I do a history check, but with disadvantage for her lack of interest?
Sure.
That's a 6, so probably not.
Yeah, you probably know about about the same, if less than Magnus. You
They're-
probably
they're-
didn't
as far
realize
as
they
she's
were
concerned,
twins.
they're furniture for the city. Lunara does not give a shit.
So when you guys go into the guard room, there are 2 men inside. The first one is this gentleman here, and this is the captain of the guard. The second person is this guy here, who Magnus you probably recognize as Prince Hassan himself. And
damn.
they are having a conversation, and well, actually, take inspiration for doing that because yes,
Yay! Thank you.
role play. Whoop. So yeah, they are having a conversation, and you see that the Azhar, who you're traveling with, when he sees the prince in there, he just kind of like freezes and stops. And the captain, Tahir, notices, and he says, "Come in, Azhar. Come in. You are not intruding. Prince Hassan," and he sort of bows as he says the name, has asked to be here, or has informed me he will be here. Is maybe a better way of putting that. He is aware that we are meeting now. Come in. And Azhar looks terrified, and he sort of like snaps to attention, and all of a sudden there's like that military strut in his stride as he walks in, and he bows low before the prince, and like I'm talking like on his knees, hands to the ground, and then forehead to the ground kind of thing, like a serious bow. And Hassan says, rise. How do you guys behave as you walk in?
I don't think Magnus knows the proper way to greet royalty, so he's probably just gonna like medium bow.
Okay.
Yeah, Lunara will she will be cautious, and yeah, bow, but yeah, she's not entirely sure about how to deal with royalty either, to be honest. It's again not an area of her interest.
I'm terrified to ask Adriel.
He just stands. He stays. He doesn't bow.
Okay, neither does Usmagaris.
Yeah.
And Wei.
Yeah, I bow at the hips, sort of.
Okay.
I go right angle.
All right.
Kind of confused. I'm doing it right.
Magnus would just give you a shrug, like, I don't know. He gave him the cautious "I don't trust you" bow, where like I never take my eyes off the guy.
Please excuse my colleagues. We're not accustomed to being in the presence of royalty.
I look over at him like giving him a face like you're accustomed to being in the presence of gods.
Are we really?
Magnus is thinking like maybe we should have let him wear the fucking mask.
Yeah, maybe. It would have been less weird.
I'm dying. Okay, so Princess Anne takes all of your greetings as his due, but does not make any comment about Adriel and Usmagaris not bowing. And he says to his guard, please rise. And he stands up, and Hassan says, my friend Tahir, and he sort of like gives to Tahir, like sort of claps him on the shoulder. My friend Tahir here said that you might have some information about my soon-to-be wife. And when I heard that you may have information to provide, I insisted that I was invited to be part of this conversation.
I admire your diligence on that regard. So she obviously introduces herself and the rest of the party. We are traveling archaeologists. Well, okay, I am a traveling archaeologist. These are my guard, shall we say, my help. And we were we found a temple and I described the region that we went to get to the Death Cult's temple.
Okay.
And it was populated by what I can only describe as very much a death cult. And we found a prisoner who had been held for some days, and he informed us of the attempt on your future wife's the capture attempt, should we say, for which we obviously relayed the message through to our friend here. We have a feeling that this will not be the last attempt. I managed to get some information from a guard that suggested they were particularly interested in your lady's family symbol.
In her symbol.
Yes, the palm tree necklace thing.
That
That
is-
it's possibly her, not her that they were after, but that symbol.
Oh, that is most interesting. I do not see it is a broken charm. I do not see why anyone would be interested in it.
Even I would. I know this might sound weird, but I would like, and I know this is a very odd question to ask of someone in royalty, but I would like to have a look at it to see if there's any magic, any like residual magic left there, because the cultists that were doing the arranging the snatch were cultists of the giant winged demon thing that's currently stalking the desert. And we are, as part of our archaeology, trying to put him back to whence he came. Archaeology is an exciting. They say archaeology is boring, but it has its exciting moments.
I have to say, I've never met an archaeologist who has tried to put down a giant demon winged thing in the desert.
Well, let's put it like this. Archaeology belongs in the ground, and when it gets out of the ground, you have to kind of put it back in its place.
Just
Which is a
picturing
phrase I did not
Lunara
expect to say when I woke up this morning.
Just picturing Lunara as a goth female version of Indiana Jones now.
Yeah.
I know, right? Lenora, I am going to need a persuasion check from you, please. You can have
Okay.
advantage if someone else in the party wants to chime in and back you up in some way. Otherwise, you're rolling just straight.
I would appreciate it if someone could chime in. Maybe mention what we've done already. Obviously in a not giving him too much information sense.
Probably Magnus would be the best one.
You don't want Gordon.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of what the hell Magnus could even say at this point. Like, I mean, she reads a lot of books and has learned quite a bit about this crazy flying. She thinks it might be a pit fiend.
When you say pit fiend, you see that the prince and the captain sort of share a look. And the captain of the guard says, "Is that what you have heard? Quite interesting."
We have
Go-
seen it up close.
And again, there's kind of a look that passes between the two of them.
Man, we're all
Go
on
ahead
our
and
way to
make-
jail.
Go ahead and make me a persuasion roll with advantage, please.
Okay. Advantage. Persuasion. I do not have proficiency. I really ought to try and get proficiency in persuasion at some point. Ugh, fuck, that's an 11. Advantage was nice though. Can I... In a moment... I might have a feature. Might have a feature. I might have a feature. Please have a feature. Apparently I do not have a feature.
Okay.
Sad times.
So the captain and the prince look at one another once again. It's almost like they're you get the idea that these two are actually friends in a way.
Mhm.
You know when you just someone really well and you can kind of like have a conversation with just a look.
Yeah.
That's kind of
I-
the vibe that's going on here.
Sure. I also want to like show the trinket that did we find that trinket or were you?
I
What was
won
the
it in that
trinket?
game where I was betting socks from
Hmm,
Adriel's tribe.
okay. I also
So
have.
I would like to keep that in reserve, perhaps.
Okay. Yeah. I was thinking
'Cause
we
it's
could show the
also
trinket and
broken.
go. Yeah. I'm wondering if uniting the two pieces might uniting. up
That's
the
what
original
I
piece.
think. But
Yeah,
I
okay.
mean, I'll let you make the call. But I would have said before we went in, like, let's try and keep this in reserve. If we
Okay, yeah,
need
we'll keep
it,
it in
use it.
We'll keep it in reserve. Okay,
Okay,
just wait. How they react.
so the prince says, "I cannot allow you to. I cannot give permission for you to look at the at the symbol. I will ask the princess if she is willing to allow you to look at it, but I will tell you that she never lets it out of her sight.
And
It
nor
is
should she. I would not
uh,
not necessarily ask her to do that.
very well. Let us. And he says, he calls over a servant and says, "Find the princess and ask her if she would come and speak with me here, please." He doesn't say please. Find the princess and ask her if she would speak with me here. And the slave runs off. And as you are waiting for either the princess or the servant to return, saying that she said no, the captain and the prince ask you a lot of questions about Calitharis. What does he? You say you have seen this creature up close. What does he look like? How many people did he have?
I relay that like he had a like large swarm of demons around him. I will probably like disguise myself, do like disguise self as him. I'd say like warning you, this is not a pretty sight, but I can show you exactly what he looks like if you want. I'll offer rather than.
Yeah, he says, please, yes, go ahead.
Okay, then she uses the hat of disguise and changes herself to look like him.
Okay. The two of them, they actually kind of like walk around you, kind of like examining you from all sides, kind of idea to kind of get an idea of what you look like. Tahir says, "Thank you. That is most helpful to see. I believe this confirms our suspicions of what we believe the creature to be."
She turns off the disguise and says that he chased us through a patch of desert. We managed to escape from him. Most of our attempts to harm him did next to nothing. We have pretty reasonable magic to bring to bear, and he kind of shrugged most of it off. We are on the hunt for something more powerful that will bring him down.
You believe you can find something that will harm this creature?
That is the aim. He's not a deity. He's not. He's only a pit fiend.
What do you think you could find that would even harm such a creature?
Have you ever heard of a guy called Martek?
The wizard from the stories?
I know it sounds like it's a story, but we've visited his tomb. We've seen all sorts of shit. Did we visit his tomb?
No,
Question mark?
We
have not visited his tomb. We've seen all sorts of places that he personally built. We've encountered his a ridiculous maze that he built underneath the tomb of I can't think of his name, the ruler.
Amun-Ra?
Amun-Ra, yes. We visited the tomb of Amun-Ra and we made it through his Martek designed labyrinth. He was extremely powerful, extremely real, and potentially has something that can put down this creature.
And as you finish saying that, a woman stands in the doorway. You recognize her immediately, Adriel, as Jasmine.
Little on the nose, don't you think?
I'll say it.
And
okay, let me see something. I don't say anything. I just nod to her.
She nods back to you, and she walks in and she sort of stands beside Hassan, and she says, "Indeed, it is true. Martek did exist many years ago. And it is also true that there may be something that will help defeat this creature.
Hmm.
And she sort of touches her hand to her necklace, and I know it's not shown in the picture, but she has or maybe it's on underneath the big necklace it was in the picture. But she has a broken palm tree.
I
And
have a
Does it look
feeling
like the
that-
second
yeah.
half of the friendship necklace?
it sure does.
Well, okay.
Oh, how convenient. I'm gonna cast Detect Magic, and just see if I pick up anything off of the 2 pieces.
Here's people telling me not to gamble against oracles. Come on.
Do you have tokens of these that we could put down, or
Tokens of
the people that we're talking to? Or no?
yeah, let me actually I have
Because once I click on the screen, the pictures go away. So it's like I can't remember.
yes,
what they look
I
like.
will Control Shift O, that
Oh, there
is
we go.
him. Oh, that is him. And her.
Thank you.
And give me a second to do some rearranging and I'll make them a little bit bigger for you. Would that be helpful too?
Mhm. Thank you, that'd be appreciated.
I frequently have multiple images kind of like all over my pages. So I can very rarely see things, but I also forget that you guys cannot see what I see. There's him and make her a little bit bigger too. How's that?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Awesome.
So
Okay.
yeah, I have a feeling like I know that that is obviously your family's crest, and it was your family were ruling this city at the time of Martek.
Indeed, yes, it is true. My
I
family.
even have a feeling that may have been a gift from Martek. Would I be anywhere in the right vein?
You are correct, yes.
Oh, I'm so good at this game.
Lunar, you've cast Detect Magic on the pieces, and they don't seem to be magic in and of themselves,
Okay.
but there is a magic that is straining them towards each other. You can kind of see, like, you can't see obviously Magnus's because he doesn't have it out at the moment, but you can see kind of like a magic pull that is going from her necklace directly to wherever Magnus, where do you have it stashed? Is it in like your backpack or?
I'm wearing it on my neck underneath the plate armor.
Okay, so you would see like a pull from like basically like her neck to his neck kind of idea, and it's like these pieces are
Sure.
pulling towards each other. It's not a particular school of magic. Maybe hang on. Transmutation.
Okay. If you would permit, I feel like we could potentially reunite the pieces.
What pieces?
So Magnus?
Yeah, I mean, at that, I'll just take it off my neck, and I kind of
She's-
hold it up so that it floats like perpendicular towards her.
Yeah. She like gasps and says, "You have the other half, then perhaps not all is lost."
We are really good archaeologists.
We are.
And like Hassan and the captain Tahir, they are both just like looking like what the hell is going on kind of idea. But she seems to kind of understand a little bit more than they do about what is going on. And she takes off the necklace, and you kind of see like Hassar, like, you know, I've never seen her take off the necklace, like she wears it all the time.
Nara will like catch the other piece out of the air and then like help guide it to connect.
It's like a magnet. Like they just kind of, it's not forceful, but there's definitely a kind of like a pull and a chink, and as soon as they connect, it is whole.
And I'm watching them through Detect Magic to see if there's any change.
No. The magic at that point sort of goes.
Interesting.
And she says, the key is whole.
The key?
Yes.
The oldest part of the city, I'm guessing.
Oh, this is older than the city.
Okay, so what exactly?
It is part of the key that will open the weapon.
I see. Do you know where that is?
Believe it is with Martek. In his tomb, where he lies. But to get there, you first need the gems. Do you have them?
We are in
And at this-
process. We have 3.
At this point, like, Hassan and Tahir are just like, what the hell is going on? And she's just completely ignoring them. And she says, you have 3 of them. There are 2 left to find.
Yes, we know roughly where they are.
You must find them. When you find them, you can go to the tomb. The gems will open the tomb. The key will unlock the weapon.
Okay.
It is not magic in itself, but it will complete the circuit, I believe.
That makes a lot of sense.
What's a circuit?
Magic term. Explain when you're older.
This is feeling very Full Metal Alchemist at the moment, and Magnus
It is,
not
and I'm
liking
loving it. Lunara is adoring this. She would have paid an arm and a leg.
But we are beyond our time. So with that, that achieved, I think we are going to. Oh no, we're not.
We
We're
have
not.
15 minutes. What are you talking
We have
about?
15 minutes. I'm sorry.
What are you talking
Yeah, it's
about?
okay.
You all right?
I was like,
Well,
Are you
I
doing
thought we
okay?
ended at like 10:30, and I was like, oh my god, we're over time. Everyone's got places to be. No, we can keep going. Good, because I did not want to
Yeah.
end this mid-conversation. Awesome.
Good. I mean, it would
yeah,
have been a good. It would have been a good like little bombshell to end the session on, like
dramatic
a good
session.
cliffhanger. But yeah,
It's you.
yeah,
I know, but I hate picking up sessions in the middle of a conversation
Yeah,
because no one
that's
can
fair.
ever remember what they were saying.
Yeah.
So yeah. So she says, yes, this will unlock the weapon. And for like, she just turns to Hassan and she says, we might survive this.
That's the hope.
Can we tag
And
along?
he's like, I just need someone to tell me what's going on. And she says, I will fill you in later, but for now, what you need to know is we must help these people any way we can.
Fuck yeah.
Did Martek leave any writings with your family?
He only left one thing other than the key. He left knowledge with us. He left information about a place in the sky. Place in the
The
sky
Sky
where
Sea.
Yes, where he hid the last gem.
Okay. Take as much of that as you can give. That's like one of the next places we're going.
I also know of. I know the location of all of the gems. I can tell you where to go, how to find them.
I have definitely take information that you can give us. Where's the? Okay, so I know that we've got one at the crypt of Badr al-Masak to find, and the
Yes.
other one is in the Sky Sea.
Yes.
Those are the 2 we search for. So yeah, all the information you can give us about where those are would be gratefully received.
Badr al-Masak is an ancient crypt.
Okay.
It is, as all of the others have been, it has been protected by Martek.
Sure.
It is a place of learning.
Good to hear.
It is a place of knowledge, and I believe it has been corrupted over the years.
Okay.
So we have to fight evil books or something like that.
Evil
Um,
librarians, way worse. Just silence all over the place.
All they do
Linara
is say,
gives you a look. Linara gives you a look, and like, but there's a smirk behind the look.
she says, I would suggest that is the next gem to acquire. The final gem
Okay.
in the Sky Sea will be very difficult to get.
We have the means to get up to the Sky Sea. We have a boat.
No, we can jump really high. No, we don't.
Getting there, I think, will be the least of your worries. It is the final test.
Falling back down.
Falling with
It
style.
is- There, it is. It is where the cursed city. It is within the cursed city.
Okay. What, the Sky Sea?
This cursed city is within the Sky Sea, and the gem
Right,
is within
okay.
the cursed city.
The Sky Sea gem is within the cursed city.
DM's way of
Okay.
telling us we're under level for that one.
Yes, that sounds about right. Do you know anything else about the curse of the city?
The people there never die.
Oh,
That'll be great for us.
yeah, that'll be fun.
Or horrible.
Well, no, because I mean, we can just keep getting stuck in the same traps over and over again. It won't be a big deal. We never die.
Yeah, I was about to ask. Does that apply to us as well?
I mean, it may only be like a citizenship thing. It might not happen for outsiders.
I do not know how the curse works. You have to understand this is knowledge passed down for
Sure.
1,000 years through my family. All I
Sure.
know is that the people of the city are cursed and cannot die.
Okay.
Speaking of knowledge passed down, you wouldn't was Martek working on anything towards the end of his life? Researching anything in particular? Any kind of knowledge that he passed down about ideas that he may have had?
The only thing that I know is that his last act was to trap Calictharis, the demon, inside of one of the gems.
Yeah.
Then placed the gems in different parts of the world to be protected until a group of heroes could come and restore them 1,000 years from the time that he placed them.
Apparently, that's us.
And
Not
his
that we want it to be.
finally, he knew he did not have long left for this world. And he took the weapon, and it is with him in his tomb.
Really hoping we
Okay.
get a bit of information about an alternative, short of gathering all of the gods and having them, kumbaya, Calicatharius back to hell.
Yeah. Do you happen to have any idea where Martek's tomb might be?
I do not, but when all the 5 gems are assembled, they will show you the way.
Right, okay.
They say that all who built his tomb were killed so that they could not release the secret.
That seems impractical. What happens if he needs someone to come back and fix something?
I think with Martek's magic, no repairs are necessary.
Well, that's unbelievably convenient.
It is. Then again, magic.
And again, magic.
Well, not to overstep, but I do believe we are going to have to take that key with us, which may stop the kidnapping attempts.
Yeah.
She says, as soon as I saw you had the other half, I knew that this key that has been in my family for 1,000 years to protect, it was time for me to give it to the rightful owners. And Magnus, she hands you the key. She hands you the whole thing.
Right back over the neck, under the plate armor.
She nods in approval.
Why don't you come with us, princess? It'll be tons of fun.
I am not skilled in archaeology. I fear that
You
I would
are.
only slow you down.
All right, I'll be your brother then.
My
No.
husband to be?
Oh, sorry, that was your brother. How about your husband? No, bring your husband too. We got a family gathering. We got a family
We
trip.
can show them the world. Shining,
We'll go safari.
shining.
Princess Anne really looks like he wishes he could go with you, to be honest. And he says, I unfortunately have responsibilities here to my people. It is while you find this weapon. He seems to have picked up what's happening. Although it hasn't been fully explained to him, he seems to be getting the gist of it. While you find this weapon, it is there's someone needs to stay here and make sure that our city is safe.
I have one more request to make, and again, I hate to overstep, but we need to resupply before we go out. Your aid would be very beneficial.
And he, without hesitation, says, "Anything you need, we will provide. If you could stop
Smokes, and lots of them, because this is a long journey.
Magnus, we
He
can get those
laughed.
from the market. Don't ask royalty for cigarettes. Fuck me.
He says
I
that
mean,
we
we're
will
trying to
see-
save the world, and if I can do it while not having jitters from craving some nicotine,
he says, "I will see what I can do."
Oh, thank you. I give them a list of the things that we need for a generic trip out into the desert to get to Bad al Masak. Roughly, I assume I roughly know where we need to go for that.
So he basically says, let the captain of the guard know, and he will take care of any of that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give that to the captain of the guard.
And they will, I think at this point, the prince and the princess will head off unless you have any other questions for them.
as they're leaving, I will just turn to Azar and be like, Azar, you great work bringing us on for this. You're really helping the city.
And Hassan says, "Indeed, you have somehow managed to find the heroes of the tales." And he says, "Captain, I think he deserves a promotion." And the captain says, "Indeed, good work." He will be promoted for his work in bringing you guys on.
And I just give him a look like, you owe me one.
Yeah.
He's thrilled. He's smiling, and he kind of gives you a nod, like, "Yeah, okay, I do." And we're just gonna promote him to sergeant. Alrighty. So the captain of the guard has been offered to give you any assistance. And so you give him all the lists of things that you need. And basically what this means is you guys can add anything to your character sheet that you think you would need for next session. Just
Okay.
If it's anything crazy, just run it by me first. But
Lunara might, before we go out, Lunara might go looking for scrolls and stuff to just.
I was gonna say, let's stop by that scroll place and see what they got.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you
Scrolls
guys
are
are
right.
heading out of the palace, though, before we get to that bit, as you guys are heading out of the palace, you leave your list with Captain the Guard, and he goes and starts
Mhm.
working on that. You are approached by a woman who
Ooh la
um,
la.
sort of she's sort of hiding a little bit, and she kind of steps forward and she says, "Please, I would speak with you."
Lenara kind of cocks her head, like, who are you, sorry?
Quickly, this way, no one must see us.
I would like to insight that. I'm
Sure.
have lived in this city long enough to know that when someone is trying to shepherd you in a specific direction, that's potentially a cause for concern.
Sure.
So insight.
She seems scared.
Mm-hmm.
She seems scared. She seems adamant that you follow her. She's kind of like she poked her head out. She's kind of shepherded you, and then she sort of like stepped away, kind of around a corner where she couldn't be seen. And then when you don't follow right away, she kind of like peeks back out. She's anxious to have you follow her. That's what you get.
Magnus
I-
just starts following her, but like he's expecting us to all get jumped, so I'm going to give myself a vigilant blessing.
So
With
right,
some
lads.
advantage on.
I'll take one for the tea.
Mm-hmm.
I got this.
The way unzips. Sorry.
No zippers back then.
True. I follow. Like Lenara's cautious, but
Uh,
follows.
Let me go out in front because I'm the dexterous one in case some shit
Okay.
happens.
Mhm.
And I have evasion too and all that stuff.
Okay. Yeah. So you guys.
I might actually send Quoth up just to like get an overview, just to see if there's anyone like waiting in the area that she's trying to shepherd us towards.
Sure. Why don't you give me a perception check for Quoth?
Okay, perception.
Quoth sees a rustling in the bushes near where she is bringing you to.
Okay. Lunara will be more cautious, but we'll go. She will kind of mutter to the rest. There's something over there. Be cautious.
Magnus will
And
keep
we'll
step
keep
with
Quoth on overlook.
Usmagarius because she may be a god, but she's still a kid. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Keep the kid protected.
All right, so we've got Way in front. We've got Adriel, Usmagaris, and Magnus sort of probably fairly close together. And Lenara, are you pulling up the rear or are you ahead of
Lunara in the middle, probably like second to front, with
Okay.
Quoth like overwatching.
Alrighty. So you head around the corner and she says, "I'm sorry, I had to," and runs, and people jump out at you.
Surprise!
But we are going to start with initiative next week because it is now 11 o'clock, and unfortunately I have to work today. But oh yeah, yes, I can play next weekend. We're good.
Can we just roll now, or?
No, we'll roll next week, and that way it'll be preserved because otherwise there's a chance that it doesn't get saved, and then we have to re-roll
Yeah.
next week anyway.
Awesome.
So yeah, all right, good session, guys.
Yeah,
Sorry, it
thanks,
was a lot
that
of
was really fun.
talking today.
No, that was really enjoyable. I actually really like the establishing sessions and us trying to get our place through investigation and having to be clever. I really
it's the
fucking
whole
enjoy that.
reason I play D&D. The combat's great, but I'm here for the drama and the
Awesome.
politics.
I'm really loving playing Lunara and being able to do the clever stuff and ask and have a character that can do that shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, it was fun, guys.
it was fun.
Yeah.
Good, guys, and we will play next week and pick up with you guys fighting the baddies.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I have a thing I'm very much looking forward to doing.
Nice.
All right, take care.
Awesome.
Practically all
Right.
god.
All right, and anyone who's watching, thank you for watching, and join us next Saturday to find out what happens. Bye bye.